What's going on, everybody? It's Faye Dating Coach Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about what men think about you being silent, you being cold, what's going on in their head, how they're reacting, and why they're doing what they're doing, okay? What a man is thinking first is dependent on if he is the one who left you or not. If he left you, your goal now is to get him to regret his decision. So when I always tell my clients to act cold, to be silent, the reason I'm saying this is because you can only control part of the variable, and that's the variable of him believing he has you, him believing he could just come back. Because there's a reason why he goes off in the first place. And that usually is I have a narrative or description or perception or perspective, I guess, in my head that is better out there than it is here. Something's wrong here. I don't like it here. I'm unhappy here, or I could be happy. I might be even okay here, but I could be happier else. It's something, okay? Which, by the way, is a very unhealthy mindset to have, which is, oh, I have something great here. Let me go see what else is out there, which is why I'm telling you, you shouldn't even bother with these dudes. But so you got to be silent. You got to hold your ground. And by the way, this is the last thing you do. You should communicate first. You should try to work it out. You guys should try to solve the problem. It's when you can't do this, or the guy's not even, like I said, maybe your guy's pulling away, pulling some bullshit, and not even meeting you halfway. Then you got to put the walls up. You got to, put all the locks, lock all the locks, and see what goes on from there, okay? And usually what happens, like I said, depends on who left who. Your goal is to get him to regret it. Like I always say, I don't think he's going to regret it the first month. I think it usually happens between month 1 and month 3. And I usually say after month 3, like 3 to 6, you're pushing it. And the reason I say this is you're talking to a guy, especially for, I don't know, if he hasn't came back, there's a reason why he hasn't came back. If he comes back 6 months later, like 5-6 months later, it's not because he missed you, it's because he ran out of options, okay? So even if he did come back, and you might be like, oh, hey, it worked, I wouldn't take this dude back. I would not take this dude back at all. Now, it works a lot better if you are the one who is like, nah, dude, I'm done with this BS. I'm done. You're pulling some bullshit. I don't like it. I told you once. I told you twice. You're still doing it. Or I could just tell you're playing me, or you're not really interested, or you're, sporadic, whatever. And then you're done. You have a lot of power there. That's where silence works. That's where being cold works. Because a man has to understand, this is just the law of the universe. There is a cause and effects. There is a action and reaction, okay? There is a consequence. I always say without structure, there is chaos. A man has to know, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm tired of this BS. Bro, I gave you a million chances. But the problem is, a lot of women do not do this for whatever reason, or you do and you cave really fast. So you might think, okay, I'm going to watch this video to see what he's thinking, and he probably thinks he still has you, right? He thinks he still has you. And like I said, this goes for a while. It's based on the evidence you have shown up to this point. If you have took him back 3 or 4 different times, now you're doing no contact, you're doing the silence thing, you're doing this, I'm going to be cold and watch Elliot's videos, and you've been doing it for a couple months and you didn't get any results. Well, yeah, 2 reasons why. 1, he's playing the game too. You got to understand that, ladies. And 2, he doesn't feel like he lost you. What's so different about this time? You said the same shit before, right? Maybe not to this degree, but you said it. He knows you like him. You guys have been talking for months. You said you aren't talking to anyone else. He knows that you're 35 or 40 and that you're not wanting to go through all this bullshit again. You're getting older. You don't want to have to go through all this bullshit with this. You want it to work with this guy, but because of him is why it's not working. So he knows he's the variable to change all this shit. Well, if she knows that. She knows if I just, I believe I still have her. So if I just change a little bit, I know I can weasel my way back in like I did the other 2 or 3 times. That's what he's thinking. So if you're talking to a guy and you're the one pulling away, like I said, he's probably playing the game too, or first thing. The second thing is he knows he still has you. So if you're doing that, like I said, because he's playing the game and because there's probably some type of ego or pettiness, he's probably going to go and have fun in the meantime and then come back around. That's just the reality of it, ladies. You know, women don't like when I say this type of stuff, but you have to understand the context. Like, you have to give me the whole story. I mean, I guess when you're my client, you do, but like you guys, you know, you're like, how do I get a guy to regret it? And I'm like, well, you have to ask yourself first off why you're doing this in the first place. Like, he's obviously an effing idiot. He's obviously doing shit that he can't control or he can't change, or that you tried to nip in the ass, but he's doing it anyway. Right? So he already has this mindset of where he doesn't value or respect you to the same degree, or maybe even the priorities. Like, the relationship's not a priority, or working it out at least is not a priority to him like it is to you. Okay, so that's the first thing. You have to take it all into consideration when you talk about this. And a lot of people forget it. A lot of women will come to me and they'll be like, how do I get him to regret it? How do I be cold? I'm doing no contact and it's not working. Well, yeah, no shit. Because you got to ask yourself why you're doing it in the first place. You're talking to a guy who is already pulling away. So he obviously doesn't really care that he doesn't talk to you. Right? And sometimes that's the case. But like I always say, usually I think the best thing you can do is add structure, add some substance, add some standards to the thing. He's not allowed just to come and go like that. And you're right, there's some guys who would care and there's some guys who won't. But it is what it is. Either way, you still have to uphold that standard. That's what I'm trying to make with this whole entire video. Well, actually, the video is about what he's thinking. But I think you kind of know that already. And if you don't, like I said, I think he's playing the game too. I think there's a lot of ego and pettiness involved. I think he's going to try to make you feel the same way that you're making him feel. This jealousy, this I'm done type shit. Or, like I said, the guy believes he still has you. If the guy comes back after 1 to 3 months, I would say he probably made an impulsive decision. So you could be watching this and kind of reflect on your situation, which is, well, yeah, he just did pull away all of a sudden. Or, I mean, things were going great and we got in this one fight and he pulled away. And Elliot, we don't even fight. Well, if that's, again, I just want to tell people just to get a session with me. Because if that's the case, I need to know more. Like, if you never fought and he's doing this, then I need to know the intensity of the relationship, how fast it moved, how much context has been built up, because he's probably using it as a get out jail free card. Like, oh, well, you don't like the color of my pajamas. Fuck you, bitch. And then just fucking goes and does his own thing. I've had that happen. Not to me, but clients, where guys have the stupidest effing reasons to get out of it when things were going well. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's because the guys, that's a whole different story, okay? But like I said, if you guys want to work with me, hey, I'll love that. Link down below. If you want to get my guides, link down below. With that being said, I love you all. Take care and peace.